The story continues with Michael feeling uneasy. He remembers the preparations they made over the past few days and how they felt so confident, with no doubts or fears. But now, there's a massive tornado in front of them, and Michael wonders if a group of amateur dragon hunters like them can take down this monstrous threat. Despite his doubts, he steels himself and encourages his crew not to panic. He orders them to slay the ferocious dragon known as Desaz-Toi, swearing that he won't let it escape. Michael believes this is what the wind is guiding him to do. Meanwhile, Crimson is worried as he observes the Tempest Cell's tornado, realizing it's moving twice as fast as their car's top speed. Trying to escape would lead to their demise as they'd be torn apart. Desaz-Toi notices Crimson and the others heading towards the sun and thinks that the sunlight won't affect him much, given his strong defensive and regenerative powers. However, it will still weaken him to some extent. Michael takes action and fires bullets at the tornado, causing parts of it to freeze. Crimson clarifies a common misconception among dragon hunters. Silver bullets don't freeze the blood of dragons, but rather the magic within their blood. When this magic interacts with the wind controlled by magic, freezing occurs. Desaz-Toi questions if they are using silver bullets and wonders about the purpose behind these attacks. Crimson suspects that Desaz-Toi is pondering their tactics. He mentions that these bullets are not silver but are filled with a substance called Ragna silvery. However, Desaz-Toi still doubts the significance of these attacks, thinking that freezing the surface with such minor attacks won't break his connection with the wind. Crimson reveals that they haven't unleashed their ultimate weapon yet, and instructs the dragon hunters to fire the silver bullets infused with Ragna silvery. This manages to freeze a substantial part of the tornado. The power difference between the bullets significantly affects Desaz-Toi, making him realize that his bond with the wind is weakening. Crimson urges the dragon hunters to keep firing. In response, Desaz-Toi increases the speed of his tornado and expresses his disdain for the humans. He belittles their strength, comparing them to lower creatures, and vows to kill them all, determined not to let anyone escape. Crimson leads the way onto a bridge, and as they cross it, the enormous tornado starts to disappear. Ragna covers the bridge with his silverine energy. The slime then catches Desaz-Toi and hurls him onto a silver spear held by the dragon hunters. Desaz-Toi begins to freeze, worried that his heart is injured, which would cut off his blood source and stop his magic flow. With the sun rising, Desaz-Toi starts to burn. The slime tells the dragon hunters to finish him off. Desaz-Toi uses his magic to lift the ground and free himself from the humans. He removes the spear from his chest, believing that the dragon hunters are powerless against him. However, Crimson takes action and runs him over with their truck, while the dragon hunters continue to shoot at him. Crimson explains that Desaz-Toi is no easy opponent. He can summon up to 8 tornadoes simultaneously when he transforms into his dragon form. Crimson tells Ragna that their plan would have failed if Desaz-Toi had been able to do that. He states that their success came because Desaz-Toi couldn't imagine losing. Crimson provoked his desire to kill him, but Desaz-Toi didn't unleash his full power due to pride and arrogance, which is the third major weakness of dragon, in addition to sunlight and silvery. Crimson developed high-quality dragon hunting weapons to exploit this weakness, and Ragna should be thankful to the Tempest Cell for allowing him to showcase his incredible potential. Ragna recalls a conversation from the previous day when Crimson assured him that choosing him was the right decision. Ragna realizes that Crimson wasn't treating this as a battle, he was experimenting. Ragna admires Crimson's deep knowledge of dragon hunting and his ability to foresee the future. He's once again reminded of how amazing Crimson is, and they're on a mission to eliminate dragons. Ultimately, Ragna envisions a future where he'll even hunt Crimson. The scene shifts to the dragon hunters embarking on their new journey. They inquire with Crimson if he's comfortable providing them with weapons and vehicles. Crimson assures them it's not a problem and hopes they can safely leave the country. Slime also wishes them luck. Crimson uses his magic to make the humans forget about him. Michael acknowledges that they owe their survival and their quest for vengeance to Ragna. However, Ragna humbly reminds them that they all played a part by standing up to the dragon. Michael considers it a triumph for all dragon hunters, and he departs with his crew and the survivors he was guiding. Crimson then takes out a radio, and someone from the Royal Army of Lace makes an announcement. They inform the public about a large-scale dragon attack near the border. All citizens are urged to follow the army's directive and evacuate to the capital, emphasizing that the royal capital is safe. They warn against approaching the border under any circumstance. Ragna suspects it might be a trap, and Crimson agrees. They decide to head to the capital. The story then takes us back in time by 5 days. The king in the capital receives news of Don Eru's destruction. He asks the messenger which country attacked the city. The messenger reveals that it was dragons, not an invading country. After sunset, a lightning storm reduced the city to ashes, and almost all the armed forces there were wiped out. Subsequently, a horde of dragons descended upon the city, and all communications ceased. The king instructs the messenger to assemble a unit from troops stationed in Ragna and Tortiere to provide aid. He also orders the recruitment of dragon hunters as emergency troops, emphasizing not to engage with superior dragons. The messenger understands and departs. An old man recalls a similar incident from 20 years ago when Garns attacked Donapiru. Dragons suddenly appeared, delivering devastating lightning strikes to Garns' army. The king reflects that this made him believe that the local dragons weren't keen on fighting, and he wonders what might have provoked their wrath. He feels confident that the capital is secure because it's protected by a barrier. The king notices something unusual in the throne room. It's too quiet. Suddenly, an angelic-looking girl named Ultima descends into the room. She apologizes for her abrupt arrival and explains that she's been granted the title of monarch by their god. She's the first seed of the Bloodwing, and her name is Ultima. The king recognizes her as the angel-winged demon. Ultima feels that the title of monarch is a bit too grand for her. The king wonders how she managed to enter the barrier protecting the kingdom. Ultima clarifies that the barrier, known as the solar safeguard created by the Solarian, emits sunlight accumulated during the day to ward off dragons. She reassures the king that the barrier is still intact, even though she's enduring the heat it generates. The king realizes there's no record of a dragon monarch openly participating in the ongoing conflict between humans and dragons. Ultima tells him not to worry, as his vassals are safe. She explains that she manipulated time to freeze the world temporarily, concealing her presence, as it would be problematic for a dragon monarch to be seen in the capital. Ultima's visit piques the king's curiosity, and he questions the purpose of her arrival. Ultima apologizes and presents the head of the dragon responsible for destroying Donapiru. She clarifies that she didn't intend to attack the city, but the dragon acted swiftly, forcing her to punish him and bring his head as an apology. The king accepts her apology but is puzzled by her actions. He considers the possibility of attacking Ultima, given that he can still move and the barrier is active. However, he realizes that this would lead to an all-out war with the Bloodwing, resulting in the destruction of his kingdom. Thus, he chooses not to attack. Ultima's explanation confuses the king further. She had previously mentioned not intending to attack Donapiru, but now she claims that her god decreed the destruction of Lace. Ultima reveals that she's been secretly preparing for the annihilation of the country. She believes that chaos is inevitable now that one city has been destroyed. To prevent people from fleeing, she has ordered attacks on cities near the border, ensuring that no one escapes. The king pleads with Ultima to stop these attacks and questions if she really wants to go to war with his kingdom. Ultima believes it will be a one-sided bloodbath, implying that she has no intention of sparing his people. The king realizes he's left with only one option: to attack Ultimacia with the barrier. However, the old man we mentioned before transforms into a dragon and stops the king. A person named Nebulum shields Ultimacia from the falling debris, and she expresses her gratitude to him. The old man, named Borgias, seems a bit miffed that she didn't thank him, but Ultimacia clarifies that she wanted him to ensure the king's safety. Borgias confirms that the king is indeed alive. Ultimacia uses her magic to turn back time to the moment when the king was unharmed. She apologizes for the confusion, and the king is left wondering if he had just died moments ago. Ultimacia clarifies that he did, leaving the king astounded. He starts to think that maybe Ultimacia is some kind of god, but she modestly asserts that she's just a humble servant. With their predicament seeming unsolvable, Ultimacia asks the king for his support. She proposes that they work together to ensure that as many people as possible pass away without suffering. The king agrees to her plan. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe our channel for more anime recap.